Welcome to my channel Improve Your English. The concept of weakness is strength comes from the idea that vulnerabilities, perceived flaws, or disadvantages can often be transformed into sources of resilience, growth, and power. Here's a deep exploration of this theme through a story, the clay pot and the cracked path. In a small village surrounded by lush green hills, there lived an old water bearer who worked tirelessly to fetch water for the community. Every day, he carried two large clay pots suspended on a pole across his shoulders. One of the pots was perfectly crafted, sturdy, and flawless, while the other had a small crack running down its side. As the water bearer walked to the river and back, the perfect pot always delivered a full measure of water. But the cracked pot, despite being filled to the brim, leaked water along the way, arriving only half full by the time they returned to the village. This went on for years, and the cracked pot felt deep shame about its imperfection. It believed it was a burden to the water bearer, who had to work harder because of it. One day, the pot mustered the courage to speak to its master. "I am so sorry," the cracked pot said sorrowfully. "Because of my flaw, I spill water every day, and I can't perform my duty properly. I feel like I've failed you." The water bearer smiled gently and said, "Come, let me show you something." He led the pot down the path they traveled daily to the river. As they walked, the cracked pot noticed something it had never paid attention to before. One side of the path was lined with vibrant flowers, while the other was barren and dry. The water bearer stopped and said, "Do you see these flowers? I always knew about your crack, so I planted seeds along this side of the path. Every day, as we walked back from the river, the water you leaked nourished these flowers. For years, I've been able to gather these blooms and bring joy to the villagers' homes. Your flaw has been a blessing, not a burden." Moral of the story: this tale illustrates that our perceived weaknesses can often have hidden strengths and value. The cracked pot saw itself as defective, but its flaw created beauty and contributed to the happiness of others. Similarly, in life, what we think of as weaknesses, be it physical limitations, emotional vulnerabilities, or even failures, can serve as catalysts for growth, creativity, and compassion. Instead of hiding or rejecting our imperfections, we should embrace them and seek ways to turn them into strengths. The journey to understanding this truth is a path to self-acceptance and purpose. The cracked pot's legacy. After the water bearer shared his wisdom, the cracked pot no longer felt ashamed of its imperfection. It began to take pride in its contribution to the beautiful flowers along the path. However, the story did not end there. One day, a young villager who had watched the water bearer for years approached him. Master, the young man said, I want to learn how you make life so vibrant. Every path you walk blooms with beauty, and your work always seems so full of purpose. The water bearer nodded thoughtfully and decided to share the lesson of the cracked pot. He invited the young man to accompany him to the river. Along the way, he explained how he had recognized the pot's flaw and turned it into a source of life for the flowers. Every tool, every person, every situation has its unique strengths and weaknesses, the water bearer explained. The secret is to look for ways to transform limitations into opportunities. The young man was inspired and began to see his own life differently. He had always been self-conscious about his quiet nature, feeling overshadowed by louder, more confident villagers. But he realized that his quietness allowed him to observe and understand people deeply. He started using this gift to help mediate disputes in the village and offer wise advice, earning the trust and respect of all. Years later, when the old water bearer could no longer carry his pots, the young man took his place. He continued the practice of planting seeds and finding beauty in unexpected places. The cracked pot, though now old and worn, still leaked water, nurturing the flowers along the path. The legacy continues. The cracked pot's story became a legend in the village, inspiring generations to embrace their imperfections. Each villager began to look at their own cracks differently. The farmer who struggled with a limp became the one who noticed the best soil for crops. Because he walked slowly. The child who stuttered became a master storyteller, captivating audiences with his unique rhythm. The cracked pot taught them that life isn't about being perfect, it's about recognizing the value in what makes us different. By embracing our flaws, we can turn them into strengths that not only help ourselves but also enrich the lives of others. Moral every weakness carries the seed of strength, waiting to be nurtured. When we learn to see our flaws as opportunities for growth and creativity, we unlock a powerful force within ourselves and inspire those around us to do the same.